Have you ever thought about why it's so hard to be yourself? Like, you are you all the time, yet it's so hard to be you around people that you don't know, and even sometimes people that you do know. Why is it so hard? We're going to talk about why it's so challenging, but also why it's important to still be yourself no matter what. Coming up next on the Third Quarter Podcast. Welcome to the Third Quarter Podcast. I'm your host, Ace, and you know I am blessed by the best, and so are you. And I don't know if you know this. I don't know if the news has made it your way yet, but I've heard some things, and I've read in some papers, in some news cycles, so you know it's got to be true, that you're listening to the number one podcast in the health and wellness space, in mental health space, and all those other spaces in between, like those spaces too. We're number one. Now, don't research it yet. Like, don't Google it, because I heard it's not going to be uploaded for a while, but just know that it's true, okay? So you're listening to the number one podcast in the health and wellness space, and if you are listening to this right now and you want to grow, you want to change, you want to evolve, you want to become the person that you're called to be, make sure you follow this podcast, because you're going to be notified. You're going to be notified, not notified it, but you can be notified too on the low whenever we drop a new episode. And also it helps Spotify and Apple to share the podcast to people that may not know who we are yet, but we have exactly what they may be needing in this time. So thank you so much for that in advance. Today, we are talking all about the importance of being yourself and why it's hard to be authentically you. And I can tell you off the bat, like, this is something that I really struggled with. And I don't know if it's like a childhood thing, like I've talked about in the introductory episode of the podcast, where you know, being biracial and looking different and having different interests and, you know, not really having anyone in your family that looks like you or sounds like you. Maybe that started there. I don't know if it was, you know, having, you know, playing sports and always playing above your age, so all of your friends are older. You know, I don't know if it going from a public school from kindergarten to eighth grade and then getting, you know, inserted into the private school system for high school, then switching high schools and going to a different high school. I don't know where it started, but I do know that, you know, feeling comfortable with being myself and all of my quirks and all of my ways was always something that I struggled with. Like, I felt kind of weird, whether there was a pressure there or not. It was like an inherent feeling that I couldn't fully be myself. Maybe you can relate to that. And I can tell you right now, the worst thing that you can do in this world, in this lifetime, on this earth, is not be you. Because there's never going to be anyone like you ever again. And do not rob people the experience of something that they'll never have, which is you. And I can also tell you this, the more that I have allowed myself to be me in all of the ways that are me, you know, the weird ways, the goofiness, the silliness, the seriousness, my interest in, you know, personal development, you know, my relationship with God, professional wrestling, sports, movies, pop culture, like all of it. The more that I've embraced me, it's also allowed me to really see like what my true interests are. It also allowed me to see who my real friends are. It also allowed me to see like what relationships and friendships and partnerships am I supposed to really be with, because I'm fully being me. And I just don't think we really know what's for us until we fully embrace being ourselves. And I don't know if you're in a place right now where you feel like you can't fully be you. And when I say by be you, I mean really kind of your interest in your likes. Like, sometimes I feel we hide stuff that we really like because we don't think that people are going to think it's cool, or people are going to look at us in a certain way, or they're going to look at it like, yo, like when you start liking this and when you start talking that way or whatever it is. But it's important to be yourself, man. I'm telling you, the moment that I decided, bump this, I don't care what anyone thinks when it comes to me being me. Now, I do believe that there's a part of us that we really do care how people feel about us, but I think it's more of a character thing. But when it comes to you being you, when you put your shoes on and you go out into the world and you're presenting yourself to the world, the greatest thing you can ever do is present yourself as is. Because there are going to be people that just ain't going to rock with you. You know, I want to rock with you. No, you don't. You don't. Until you see me telling you that, you know, I want to go see WrestleMania live. Let me know if you still want to rock with me. You know, like until people really see your quirks, like I can't tell you how many arguments, how many disagreements, how many fights I've got into because you're never going to convince me that Eminem is not the greatest rapper of all time. Like, it's just not going to happen. Not only am I biased, but I have facts. But I would get clowned by my friends because I still rock with him to this day, you know? And it's, even though it's as innocent as musical interest, it's still a part of me that I have to defend, right? Because this is an interest that I have, and I'm not going to allow what you may feel, because that's your taste, to tell me that I'm wrong for what I like. Because there's just certain things that he talks about that I connect to that other rappers don't do that for me. I'm not saying they're not good. I just don't relate. And I don't relate about wanting to kill my mom either. But the point that I'm making is there are parts of me that even my closest friends and family just think are weird. And there was a large part of my life when I was trying to cater to what they think I should do or what they think I should like. Whether, you know, it was something that they forced it, like, you gotta like, and it's like, okay. Or, you know, I wanted to be accepted. And sometimes we bend ourselves to conform to what other people may like or what other people think is dope or what other people think you should do. And it's cool at the beginning because you feel like you're a part of something. But over time, you start to feel like you're losing a part of yourself. That's crazy that I talked about Eminem and then I just said lose a part of yourself, lose yourself. You know what I'm saying? I don't even be trying and stuff just be coming out. You know what I mean? But sometimes we conform to what people want or what people like so we can feel accepted and a part of something. And a lot of that happens when you don't know who you are, or you do know who you are, but you don't want people to see that. And this whole episode is just to encourage you. Look, I ain't got no steps. I ain't got no 1, 2, 3s or ABCs. This is just me speaking to your spirit. You got to get comfortable with just being you. And you have to be okay with letting people be upset or people not understanding or people not willing to rock with you anymore. Because now I would rather have not as many people with me, but rock with me to the nth degree, even if they don't like, disagree, or think some of the stuff I do is off the wall or weird. Again, Michael Jackson off the wall. What am I doing? What am I doing today? You know? But I would rather have fewer people that rock with me to the end, no matter what they think is weird or what I do that they disagree with, than people that I'm catering to for them to like me for what they like or for me conforming to them. But as soon as I start to show things about me that they disagree with or they don't like, they don't rock with that. And some of you may be listening to this right now. Maybe you're a creative person and maybe you're an artist in some way. Maybe you draw, maybe you sing, maybe you dance, maybe you act, maybe you create content on social media. Maybe you want to do a podcast or write a book, and you want to write something or create something that most people haven't seen you talk about or do. And I can tell you straight up, like when my social media blew up and it started with prayer videos and encouraging words, I loved it because that's a part of my life, like praying and being a believer and speaking life into people and encouraging people and motivating people and coaching people. I love that. But that's not all of my life. Like, I watch movies and TV shows. I go to the movies almost every week. I used to go to the movies every Friday. Had the AMC, Stubbs Pass, and I was there. I love movies. I love TV shows. I love pro wrestling. I love sports. Like, I love things that don't have to do with the church or my relationship with God or, encouraging words or coaching. But I also had to understand that God gave me those interests too. So even though it wasn't prayer videos or it wasn't, speaking at my church or it wasn't encouraging words, it still was something that God put in my heart for me to like. So it still was like me expressing my love for entertainment is also me expressing my love for God because he gave me that love. He gave me these interests. One of the funniest things that I always hear from people that, get to know me more, the real me, even like some of the first reviews I got on this podcast was people didn't realize how funny I was. Because like my truest nature is I'm silly as hell, man. Like for real, I am just a silly dude. I love having fun. I love cracking jokes. Like I'm just serious. But for a long time, there was a part of me that felt like I had to be stern and I had to be, Mamba mentality. And I had to like go after my goals with a reckless abandon. And I had to be serious. I had to be focused. And, I couldn't do that. And there's a part of that that's true. You have to be able to lock in, right? But even like with Kobe, God rest his soul, there was a switch that flipped halfway through his career where we started to see another side of him, where he was showing more of his silly side, his goofy side, cracking jokes, smiling, laughing, joking around that we didn't see the first half of his career. And I think that him letting us in to see that side of him is one of the reasons why when he passed away, it hurt so bad because it was almost like we were just now starting to get to know him more. And I think the more that he showed that, the more that we all felt connected to him in some way. And that's why being yourself is so important, is because it allows you to connect with people in a way that you not being you and you doing what you think people want to hear or people want to see, it doesn't do the same. So when you're being you and you're sharing things that you enjoy, you're in your element. And when people don't understand, they don't agree, they don't like, they think it's weird, they think it's whack, it makes you even more powerful because it shows you that you're not willing to conform to people's ideas of who you should be. You're standing firm on business, on who you are. And when you can be yourself at all times, that is the truest superpower you can ever have, because authenticity is the new currency. I don't know if you're paying attention to social media, but the people that are being more authentic and they're expressing themselves, or, they're sharing their story or whatever the case is, they're documenting, not just creating content. Those are the ones that are winning right now. It's not like the dancing stuff, like all that stuff is always going to be there. But at the end of the day, like trends fade, they come and go. But who you are always remains. You can look in music, man, like the GOATs, like the greatest of the great, they can always come out, make music, do well, sell out arenas, and do tours. Because when you're authentic, you're connecting with people. When you are connecting with people, you are always going to be relevant. But when you're making music and doing things because that's what's hot, that's what everyone else is sounding like, you jumping on the auto-tune joint or you jumping on this type of stuff, when that trend goes, who are you? Who are you? What do you have to offer now? And so the importance of being authentic and being yourself, no matter what, you always will be relevant to people because there's only one of you. You're as rare as they come. And so you not being yourself, you are robbing people of the blessing of getting to experience someone that they'll never experience ever again. So whenever you walk into a gas station, the gym, a restaurant, a date, whatever, as soon as you walk in, they're never going to see someone or hear someone or feel someone like you ever again. So the more that we're conforming to what people think we should be, or conforming to people's ideas of what we should be, or what they think is dope, or what they think is sweet, or what they think is, that's how you should do it because that's whatever, you're robbing people of something they'll never experience again. Just imagine if, Sylvester Stallone was like, nah, Rocky, ain't nobody want to hear that. Ain't nobody want to listen to that. Ain't nobody want to see that, man. I don't want to see some dude that, who can't talk. Ain't nobody want to see that. Would have robbed us of arguably the greatest story ever told in film history. What if he was like, yo, no one want to hear me talk, man. I sound weird. I got this droop in my lip. I sound like this. No one wants to show it to me. So I sound like this. Hey, yo, AJ, no one wants to show it. No one wants to see that. What if Arnold Schwarzenegger did the same thing? No one wants to go to the movies. I mean, they can't pronounce the last name Schwarzenegger. No one wants to see the movie of someone that sounds like me. What if they were so consumed and concerned about sounding and being like everyone else? Look at what we were been robbed of. The legacy. Crazy. Dwayne Johnson, he's on record saying when he first got into Hollywood, like, they wanted him to lose all this weight. They wanted him to get lean, and they wanted him to be like everyone else in Hollywood. And so he was doing these movies, he was doing The Game Plan and, Tooth Fairy, like all these movies trying to fit into Hollywood. And then, man, he was like, bump this, dog. Like, I'm The Rock, bro. Like, I'm The Rock, dude. I'm in the gym. I'm about to work out. If you don't want to help me, I'm getting rid of all of you. So he fired his entire team and went to a different agency and was like, yo, I'm upping my protein. I'm upping the weights on the incline. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting these pecs up and we're going to figure this out. Now this dude's the biggest star in the world, all because he's himself. And guess what? Because back then, they didn't want him to talk about wrestling. They didn't want him to call himself The Rock anymore. They wanted him to be Dwayne Johnson. Now this dude is the biggest star in the world, the most followed American man in all of social media, $1 billion plus portfolio of businesses, and now he's back in wrestling. What? He's back in the place that people didn't want him to talk about anymore. Why? Because he didn't conform. He made Hollywood conform to him. And when you are yourself and you double down on you, everybody's going to conform to you or they're going to get out of your way. You don't have to try to play the game. You don't have to try to make people happy or do what they think is best for you. You just got to be yourself. And when you double down on you, when you triple down on you, the world will conform to you. You won't have to go to opportunities. Opportunities are coming to you. You don't have to chase the person. You and the person are organically going to meet. You don't have to try to impress someone on a date. You just be you. And whether it's a second date or not, cool. But I'm not going to try to get a second date being someone that I'm not. I'm not going to try to go to this audition being someone that I'm not. I'm going to be me. And so is it easy to conform? Yeah, because it's comfortable. It's uncomfortable being yourself. As crazy as it sounds, initially, it's uncomfortable being you because you're wrestling with the ideas and the thoughts of what other people may think. But then you realize no one really actually cares. You know what I'm saying? People want to give you the illusion that they do because people who don't know who they are, they want to feel controlled over other people because it makes them look better, right? So when someone doesn't know who they are, they want you to stay down so they always have the upper hand. And one of the main reasons why people don't want you to understand your true power and authenticity is because they know once you do that, you're going to separate. Be you, man. As weird as it may be to others, be you. Like, be you. You can't get peace trying to be like everybody else. Your truest self, your best relationship, your best businesses, your most creative self is not in you thinking and trying to be like everyone. It's just you being you. And yes, right? You can't, like, in terms of the marketplace of making money, yes, you do have to give people what they're looking for. You can't just create a product because you like it and think people are going to buy it. You still have to create something that the marketplace wants. But you deliver it being you. And here's the thing too. When you are yourself all the time, another thing that happens is that people trust you more. When you have something to promote, when you have a business you're starting, when you're creating content, when you're doing something, people are going to trust it more because they believe that you're not just promoting this product to make money for your podcast or to make money on social. They actually believe that you're using it. You're not just doing this to make some coin. You're doing this because, yo, I've been doing this for a minute and I've been using this on the low and I know more people need this. Your truest superpower relies in you being authentically yourself 24/7, 365, 366 on the leap year. The hardest thing to do in this world is to be yourself at all times and at all costs. But I also believe your truest freedom relies on you willing to step into that because it's your power, man. There's never going to be anyone like you ever again. Why are you robbing people of that? I was robbing people of me not being me. Yo, like, I love rom-coms, man. What do you want me to do? I just do. I know how the story is going to go, but I love them. I've been watching professional wrestling since I was like 2. I can tell you, I went to Survivor Series 1990. I went to Survivor Series 99. I went to Survivor Series in LA. I went to SummerSlam last year in Detroit here. Dude, it's the best. But I never would talk about it on social media. It was prayer videos, encouraging words, prayer videos, encouraging. Now it's just like, yo, I'm at SummerSlam, yo, get at me. You know what I mean? I'm talking about rom-coms, bro, get at me. But what I found out was the more that I did that, the more engaging my content became because I became more relatable. Your authenticity is the gateway to people's hearts. And you're robbing people of connection by you conforming to what you think society or other people want you to be, man. Bump that. Like I said, this episode, I'm not giving no steps, no 1, 2, 3 ABCs. I'm just speaking to your spirit. Listen, brother, sister, stop. Stop it. Ace, you understand? Stop it. But my mom, stop it. Stop. Be you. Be you. If they don't like it, bump them. If they hate on it, bump them. If they don't rock with it, bump them. They're just making room for the right people. Be you. That might mean you might have to fly solo for a little bit, but I'd rather fly solo being me than be with a pack and I'm being somebody else. The power of me authentically is stronger than the power of me being authentic with you. I can do more by myself being authentic than I can do with someone else not being me. So, the moral of the story of this episode, man, like I said, I just want to speak to you and with you, but challenge you. Be you. So, you know what? I said I wasn't going to give you no step. I'm going to give you something to do. I want you to do something after listening to this episode. I want you to do something today, tonight, but before the day is over, where you are 100% doing it because of you. You like it, you enjoy it. I want you to post about it. Post about it. And I want you to tag me in it. I love this show. I like this music. I like doing this. This is my favorite food. Post something that's authentic to you, that you've been keeping it to yourself. Put it out there. Get comfortable with you letting the world know that this is who you are and you're not apologizing for that. I'm not apologizing for being me. If I offend you by being myself, I'm sorry that you got offended, but I'm not going to dim down my light to make you feel comfortable in my presence. So, I hope this episode served you. I hope it spoke to you. I hope it encouraged you. You can follow me on social media, on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I am Coach Ace on all those platforms. Be yourself, man. Be yourself. And thank you for listening to the Third Quarter Podcast. Be safe, be blessed. And I'll see you very, very, very soon. Peace out.